Aaron, do you have any beef?
Beef. I do. The two beefs I have, you can choose if you want to follow either of these.
Okay.
One I call when mom and dad don't get along. So it's the controller and app wars, right? It's kind of like when Google took fucking Google Maps off the iPhone.
Oh.
Like all the users got screwed, right? You're just like, fuck. Now Apple had to go home, make a whole new fucking app, blah, blah, blah. So that sucked. And then I'm not a brand loyalist. I don't care about any of this shit. Like learn, Google a few things, buy what you want. But some brands, especially nowadays, now with like the merger stuff and the Sky, I just feel like people just shit on Neptune for sport.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Those two things actually kind of bother me. One, the controller thing, like it is bad. Like that, like, you know, this product can't communicate with that one. It's like, you want like, you ever get like a Google, like a Nest product, but your iPhone can't fucking turn the heater on.
Yeah.
So you have to get an Android to use it through. Like, I hate that. Like the one thing I don't want to do is open 7 different apps to put on feed mode or maintenance mode. Right. And that I think is counter to what the consumers want. However, I think the manufacturers are all aligning like a vertical ecosystem, even Red Sea, which seems to be kind of like not playing those like
Red Sea's been trying to do that for many years.
Right. The Reef Dose just came out. They've got a skimmer. They don't have a pump yet, but they've got the wave makers and they got the tanks. But like, I don't know, guys, just realize you're not software companies. All of your apps are shitty. Like, just let's all get along and like make it easier for the reefers to just press one button and have shit happen.
Try the Seche app.
Is it terrible or great?
Fucking A. It's the only one I ever want to use.
Really?
Yeah. And the new Neptune app, I think I'm allowed to say this, for setting up the Sky.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking sweet.
I mean, you saw, I didn't like the Apex's display, so I just made my own app.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I got to be careful because I like Apex because I use Apex and I understand Apex now. So I'm a fan of Apex. And boy, I like to sit on Terrence's lap. It's so soft and firm at the same time. But if there was another product that did what I get out of the Apex that wasn't based somewhere across an ocean, for service, I probably still wouldn't switch to it because I'm invested in this ecosystem.
Yeah, I have a buddy
that said, I just want to get back to the new app that's coming. Seems to work really well for me, like insanely well. And when I set up the Seche, I was stunned that it worked. Because when I set up these Red Sea gyres, I just want to fucking stab myself.
Dude, the Red Sea app is, you know what sucks about it the most is like you see the screenshots and you're like, oh, that's pretty. It's an absolute fucking nightmare to use if it even fucking connects to the equipment. And it's
that was the problem. That was the problem. And the Seche, and I bought another Seche because I want to play with it, but it was like, boom, it was set up. I was like, holy shit, this is a miracle.
Yeah.
But I should shut up more. I want Ben's reaction to this because of that. Because I'm
just sitting here letting my hair blow around.
Me too.
Why do you think people shit
Aaron,
on
your hair blew off.
All of it. Like my euphilia just polyp bailed, my hair polyp bailed. It's done.
Get 4 toupees.
I got hair up there from my daughter and my wife. I could give you.
What's
That's
that thing?
creepy.
The Merkel? Can I borrow one?
A merkin? That's for your pubes.
Oh, well, I was going to say earlier, I have a buddy that was like bugging me about the GHL Profilux. Like, do you like it? Do you think it's cool? And it's like, fucking, if you live in Germany, I mean, I don't know anyone really.
I can't speak to that one because I've never used it, but the Apex I like, but I also have Ecotech gear I like. I have, other gear. I have my needs. And I think one thing people confuse is like, we see this comments all the time of like, oh, that's just a rebranded this or that or the other thing. But I think people ignore the value of creating the ecosystem, right? Of like, I don't necessarily like even the wave pumps, which might not be the most popular Neptune product, but like, dude, there's no power brick. Like that to me has some value. Like I don't actually have those, that equipment, but like it was a consideration. Or the Core 15, you don't need to get a power brick, and there's only so much crap I want to have behind the stand that's ready to catch fire, right? So like it would be nice if you could just have your choice and like I mean, this will never fucking happen, but if all the controllers would just agree and all like the big players could play nice and just compete on like,
if bulk resupply keeps buying up everyone, it will happen.
yeah.
That's the interesting thing about all of that investment and capital shifting, because I don't think we've seen a player with that much, with those deep pockets.
Yeah.
If you're working in a store, so Central.
Yeah,
certainly.
but Central just bought shit to sell, right? This seems to be buying stuff to let the companies keep being companies.
Yeah.
Okay.
And minus like the LGBTQ stance that we wish these folks would take, I kind of like BRS just going for it. Like when I listen, either I'm super gullible or like when I hear like Ryan talk about stuff, like it sounds like he's saying shit that average person's kind of thinking. And I like that of like, why can't this do that? Why isn't this better? Why isn't there a thing? So like, if they're coming at it from that angle, like I want to see where that goes. The only way I could see, I don't know, Ben, it sounds like you're into like punk rock and guitars and stuff. Like, I think the only way this could go, like the worst case scenario here is if what happens is what happened to Fender when CBS bought them, right? It's like CBS bought them and they were like, you know, Leo and his friends just building cool guitars and all doing it for the love and building cool shit. And then eventually CBS bought them and like, hey, we can shave off 10 cents on manufacturing costs for this and that and the other thing. And there was a whole era of guitars that were eventually deemed trash until later on people couldn't afford the real vintage stuff. So then they went after that stuff because, you know, they got to get something on.
But I mean, you can, if you pay attention throughout history, you can see all sorts of brands that have done that. A little upstart player making something cool. The big dude buys them to either, you know, they say, oh, we're going to leave them alone. We're just going to merge them in and kind of incorporate. And sometimes they bring them into the fold and then they fucking strangle them. And it's like, what happened to that company that I liked? They deemed it as a threat. I don't know. Who knows?
Sometimes they don't.
I do agree with you on this, Aaron. It's like, you know, I don't really think I am, but, you know, sometimes I just think like I'm a happy-go-lucky idiot because I just look online and everyone's like, oh, they bought this, they merged that, or they came out with this and just shitting on everything. And I mean, I have a longevity in this industry. Just like chill the fuck out and wait. Things don't always pan out like you
are just fucking like
you spent your last 2 days writing a goddamn book on what pisses you off of something you have no fucking control over.
And it's a light. Like, I think people are hell bent on the sky being bad. I'm like, why? Why do you want this to not work out? Who, like, if it's good, dope. There's a kid. If it's dope, great. You have another option, something to buy. But yeah, that kind of sucks. I think people just want it to be bad. I'm like, I don't know, dude. There's a lot of cars out there. Isn't it nice that you have 1,000 cars to choose from when you're shopping? So,
yeah, and why? I guess somebody I saw said something like, you know, well, you know, I don't see why this light is so much better than any other light. And I'm going, who
do you fucking have it?
Who said it was? They just said it's another light.
Yeah.
Who, you know, I don't understand it.
But this industry is small enough. Don't you think it's a bad problem with like fan? Okay, we try, you know, not to be all PC, but like, you know, we try to not be too, you know. Okay. So like I was gonna say fanboy, but I'm just saying like fan person, like. We like Ford or Chevy or Apple or Android, or people get so dug in, and then the other company gets a product, you're like, it can't possibly be good. And it's like, calm the fuck down. I just Aaron, don't get that perspective. I don't get my panties in a wad. I'm just happy that I do this for a living.
Yeah, I understand not liking something about a company, but look, this is what I learned like from FedEx and UPS, right? It was like, because people would be like, UPS sucks, and people would be like, FedEx sucks, and then I tried them both, and you know what? Sometimes they both suck, and sometimes they're both great.